Hello and welcome to another episode of Adventures in Movies looks at dot dot dot. This week I'm joined by the hosts of Adventures in Movies.
Oh,
Oh,
hi.
hello.
That's us. That's us.
So this week we're gonna look at Tingle Monsters. Tingle Monsters is a short horror that's billed as the world's first ASMR movie. The plot follows Dee, who is a live streamer who's recording for the first time in a while. And she's all alone in her apartment. Or is she? Um,
Whoa.
just to give a heads up here, it's a short film, so I'm pretty sure we'll be able to avoid the all spoilers. But just to be warned, we're going to talk about the actual movie, so we might let some minor details slip. So I just want to give you all a heads up. A little bit of a spoiler warning there. So right off the bat, it's a different type of horror movie. What did you guys think of the atmosphere created?
They did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and they do it quickly. You know, they set it up and make you that whole like I'm looking at you guys right now, where I can see what's behind you, but you can't. I think that's a really cool perspective.
I thought it was really neat. Like, I don't know if I've ever seriously heard ASMR stuff before. I've heard of it.
Well, let me start real quick tonight.
It,
Kind
it's
of,
really,
it's kind of awful.
it's not the cool, but it drags you in real quick. You get engaged real quick with this. What do you think of it, Danny? The atmosphere, mood.
So I like the atmosphere. I like the how everything's set in. I guess in the atmosphere, it was just great. I don't know how to explain it. I thought it was realistic, and then I think this is where I set myself for disappointment. I think because I did not enjoy it as much as you guys did. And so I feel, without giving anything away out of this movie, I feel the atmosphere was really fucking great. The chat that was going on there, the toxicity of of what you see on the internet is really, really like, it's great. It's just great. But there's just this thing that I was like, no, I think that's, it just took me out of it right away. And I was just telling my girlfriend about it. Like, I usually complain about some of our friends like not to science the shit out of the things, and that's the first thing I did. I scienced it, and I couldn't get out of it. Like I was already knee deep, and yeah, it I think as an ASMR or just as a short film, it works, but I don't know if it works like it should work.
Well, let's say what your gripe is, because I know what it is.
But it's such a big thing. Like I don't
I
feel
don't
like
know
I
how
should.
big. Well, I don't know how big it is. I don't know how big it is. That's why.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
yeah. Well, let's say what it is. It's that you think that she would be looking at herself on her
Yeah.
computer monitor the entire time. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you're used to like live streams and all this stuff, you know that they're looking. If they're ASMRing or fucking live, let's play stuff.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever they're doing. They have some sort of like thing. Like I'm seeing myself right now, and I know that I could see this black blur over here happening. Like I feel like I see what's going on. Like I see Pat. I'm pretty sure you guys have some sort of reflection. I think me and Pat are the only ones that have our backs, so we're the most vulnerable ones. So if
Dracula's
you see
right
side,
behind me, bro.
yeah, that's
Literally
very
Dracula and
you,
Prince.
you have Prince,
What a horrible combination.
or a sexy one, depending on which way you look at it.
Right.
Very sexy.
So you mentioned a couple of things there, realism and the chat. So is this the most realistic chat ever in a movie? I thought it was perfect. I mean,
Yeah,
there were times where I kind of wanted to scroll through it and see what people had
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's see, and that's I think where I love the realism of all of it. Like how some of the chat was like, "Hey, you got to close that door because that's kind of like bothering me." And she gets up, and then you see her get up, and you see.
You don't have to get into all that, but I
No, no,
mean,
no. But I feel like it's like the realistic thing, like
right.
who the whole
Especially
writing.
for what she was doing, right? Like
Exactly.
she
Yeah.
with that kind of theme of content provider. That is kind of what it's a very intimate, real relationship with your chat.
Yeah, and
Right, right.
I like that a lot. It's really it's everything is so great about like this film. I just feel the execution was just felt a little short.
That's funny, execution wise, because there's nothing. There's uh the streamer. There's no music. There's no sound. There's nothing. So I the one thing you mentioned, it's I don't know. It almost seems like a nitpick to me, but I do understand where you're coming
Mhm.
from. It doesn't make sense. Um, in regards to the movie, so we're talking about like there's that thing missing you were talking about. So it's a short movie, but it has some pretty serious themes in it. Did you pick up on the themes, Blake?
Definitely, 100%. And I actually watch like some Twitch streamers and a few of those things, and periodically, like if on a Saturday night, I like to go through the particularly the people who do music, that are doing music and stuff, and it could literally be just some very inane person sitting in their bedroom with a guitar playing, and the chat, if there's 100 people in there, 25 of them are going to be horrible, being horrible.
Right.
And with this in particular, yeah, especially with like what you would consider like an attractive girl doing it, it's exactly what you see in those
Mhm.
sort of things. And yeah, I understand that the director, one of the points of this was to kind of highlight how women in particular are treated in these situations. And yeah, I thought they did a great job. I thought it was very accurate as to what you'd see.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy because you get the comment that I found the funniest in there, and it's kind of silly, but to me it was funny. It's she mentions how she's had to relocate, and basically the chat asks, "Are you in the same state as me?" And it's
Yeah.
kind of this like hopelessness. It's bottom of the barrel type of hopelessness because it's
Mm.
you have to hope they're in the same state, then you have to hope they're in the same city, then you have to hope that they have to see you, then you have to hope that it's like the bottom rung of hopelessness,
Yeah.
but then it kind of leads to how awful women are treated.
Mhm.
Everyone's treated, but this one in particular focuses on women. And I thought the ending, like the final shots of it, really sum up like internet culture very well. I thought very well done. So it's a short film, so we can't really talk about opening day and all that type of stuff. So it's free on YouTube right now. You can go and see Tingle Monsters, check it out. But would you guys recommend it? Blake, what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I'd recommend it, especially since it's on YouTube. It's very short, takes no time out of your day to do something, and I think personally, I thought it was very effective.
Danny?
Despite like my thoughts and everything, I would recommend it. Again, it's not going to be for everybody, but I feel like there's going to be a conversation, and I mean, obviously we conversed about it, and yeah, I mean, 10 minutes, like it's not even it's nothing. It's really nothing. Yeah, I would recommend it.
I'd agree. One way or another, like whether you're into horror or not, or ASMR or not, it's a little over 10 minutes. It's if nothing else, it's like nothing you've ever seen, I would imagine. It's unique.
Yeah.
Um, while we've been talking about Tingle Monsters here, there's been some random photos or random drawings popping up. They actually have nothing to do with Tingle Monsters.
Nothing.
They're they are art done by our resident host here, Danny, who is an artist who we've mentioned a few times. So we've never really gotten into it. Then we just say like, hey, go visit Danny on default player underscore default underscore player, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm horrible with social media, but I will have it down there. You guys can go there on Instagram and Twitter. But Danny, tell us a little bit about your art. Like, what is it that you do? What do you like to do?
Yeah, so I've been calling myself a cartoonist lately, since the pandemic happened. Because I don't think I'm much of an artist, but I do a lot of like fan based stuff. Or so if you like the anime, the comic books, I'll have it there. Especially like every week I do a podcast sketchbook sketch. So whatever theme we talked about throughout the while we talk about it in the recording, I have something related to it. So last week or this week we had Alicia Silverstone in the lodge. Blake brought it up, so I drew her. I usually try to like put it to something that's like between you, me, or Blake. We kind of like whatever is like the little nudge that we talk about. I'll make that to be like the focus. But yeah, I mean it's usually pencils if you see the sketchbooks, or it's digital. So it's it's good. It's I don't know how to like explain it really, but it's
It's
a lot
good.
of
Don't be
digital.
modest.
Yeah,
It's good. It's good.
but it's a lot of things. I've been trying to keep a sketchbook alive for for this whole time. For the month of April, I did Month of Danny, which I gave myself prompts to draw something, and I think I'm going to be doing that again for the month of June. So it's trying to keep myself busy with giving myself like little prompts here and there, and to see how I get myself motivated.
So you guys can check out Danny's work at the two things that I'm not saying because I'll stumble over them, but they're on the screen. Go there on Instagram and Twitter. You can find Danny. Also, if you have any fan work and you want to send it to us, I mean, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
Say something in the comments. We would really appreciate it. We'll definitely
Yeah.
put it up. I ain't letting you off that easy, Danny. I do have a question from you from Johnny Dakota. And the question is, it was specifically directed towards you.
Which is so weird.
What is wrong with that guy? Why does he cuss so much?
Yeah. Well,
why do you fucking cuss so much?
Well, let's start it with the what is wrong with that guy?
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time on this podcast.
I don't even. I blame everything on my father. As if you've heard the podcast, there's a lot of mentions of my dad, and I don't think my dad cusses a lot. It's just, why not? There was this one time, I think I was trying to get hired by a local comic book company here, and they're like, yeah, you could cuss, just not like a sailor. I don't think I'm there yet, but
I don't know. I've met a lot of sailors.
I have sailors in the family. You cuss more than them.
I mean,
not really close.
I don't think I cuss a lot. I was gonna cuss right now, but it's nice. It's nice to cuss. If I offend you, I'm sorry. If I don't, I mean, awesome. Fuck yeah. But I guess to quote Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, I've seen Fight Club 48 times.
Hope that answers your question, Jimmy, or whatever name that I gave you.
What's wrong with him? He's a man who quotes Fred Durst.
There's your answer, really. There you go.
All your questions answered in 5 minutes. All you need to know about Danny in 5 minutes. That should be the name of the podcast. Everything you need to know about Danny.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
So Blake will be everything you need to know about Blake in 2.5 minutes. Will be your next week.
Don't take that long. Yeah.
So you can find us here on YouTube every week. Sometimes we'll talk about Danny. Maybe one day we'll talk about Blake. We'll never talk about me, but we will talk about movies. We'll talk about short horror movies and documentaries and what the hell else do we do? Weird comedies and anything that we can get our hands on. We'll talk about. Adventures in Movies, our podcast, you can find all over the place. And by all over the place, I just mean Spotify and iTunes, apparently. But it's on YouTube, Cliff Notes version now, like 20 minutes or so. So it's a little more digestible. Definitely check us out. We are everywhere. Adventures in Movies is running things. Everyone else is just runners up.
Oh.
We'll see you all next week.
Adios, everybody.
Bye, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Fuck my enemies, fuck my foes. Damn these hoes, you're stepping on my toes. Back up off me, take your hands off me. Give me room to breathe. I'm not hearing it, I'm not fearing it. I'm up to my ears in it. Bullshit, I'm destructive. Some women find that seductive. Some say it's lunacy. Reluctantly, I've been moving on. I ignore you, sorry for I neglect you.